I've learned from the ocean. Hard to dare.
Hi. Mentally, I am getting there. My story. Everything started somewhere about a year ago when the place I used to live, the rent was due and the landlady was not ready to lease off the place for another year. So I was lost in thought, I was broken several times, I have spoken to people, sent people, I sent quite a number of people DMs seeking for help. I got rejected by so many, which I don't have the issues with because I think people have their own stuff going on for them. They can't just be available for you when you need them or because you need them. During that moment when everything was happening, I got a job. So this new one was quite good in the moment because I could work till like probably in the evening and I had the opportunity to also spend a night or two a week at my boss's house. So it covered up for me for that time because, mind you, my main focus was to find a place to put my head. Fast forward, somewhere when the year was about to come to an end, I got some money that I was going to use to find a place. I did find an agent of one of my friends and then he was trying to help me find a place. One time he spoke about a certain apartment that was just 2 on a compound. I loved the space. I couldn't wait to have the space. I remember speaking to one of my very close friends and I remember always saying, oh, when I get my place. It was so interesting how I could say that line all over again because I was eager to get that space. I've gone to Togo, I'd come, I never had the opportunity to own that space, which was sad. So I happened to have found another agent months later who claimed that he was going to help me find a space. Yes, from the beginning, this agent was really helpful. He helped me find a studio apartment that I was going to rent. And then when I found the studio apartment, my heart beat with joy. Initially, I didn't want a studio apartment. I didn't know why I should get a studio apartment. But then my friend Kwesi was like, oh, this is a studio apartment. Knowing you and knowing how minimal you are and how you could put certain things together, you can make good use of the studio space. And I was like, oh, but I wanted to get that job. I wanted to start something, some production stuff. How is that going to work? All Kwesi could tell me was, you can do it, London. So this agent tells me that, we should speak to the landlord that I'm gonna rent this studio apartment and blah blah blah. We speak to the landlord. The landlord is grateful that I wanted to get the space. We speak on we bargain, and then this landlord gives me the space. I go all the way to his house. I make part payment, and on the day I'm making part payment, this supposed agent that I had found that I thought from the genesis was a kind man who was willing to help me find a space, knowing that I'm frustrated and I needed the space. He had spoken to me that I needed to pay the 10% commission that agents receive here in Ghana if they help you find an apartment. But then I couldn't fine-tune that because I had just found this space. I hadn't even paid for it. I'd only paid half or more than half of the rent. So why do I have to pay you your agent's fee when it's not yet time for me to move in? So I remember having an argument with him outside the landlord's house that, hey, I haven't even finished paying the landlord. Why am I going to pay your 10 commission ASAP? He gave me some excuses. As of that time, I had some amount of money left. I don't want to disclose the amount of money, but I had some amount of money left, which was quite reasonable to give to this agent. So I decided to pay this agent also half of his money, and I paid him, I think, more than half or exactly half of his 10% commission. I paid this agent, and then in my mind, okay, the day I'll pay my landlord, I'll just finish paying him, and then in case like everything is done. I paid this man. About a week later, he kept calling me that the landlord is saying that I need to pay for this space. And then I explained to him that yes, I want this space, but I don't have the money yet to like pay. So they should give me up to the end of the month. I was hoping to make some money by the end of the month from work and then a couple of places. I kept waiting on these money that I was waiting for, but it didn't come. I had gotten a project to be a creative director, so the clients paid me literally all the money that I needed. I mean, the money that we had agreed on, so the clients gave me the money. So if the money was 10,000, the clients gave me 10,000. So I called the agent and I'm like, hey, I'm ready to pay for the studio apartment, like the remaining amount, and then I'll pay you agent's fee. So can you speak to the landlord and let me have this space? He calls the landlord. The landlord doesn't pick up our call, but tells this. No, I called the landlord because the agent tells me to call the landlord. I called the landlord and I told the landlord that I'm ready to pay for this space, but then how do I meet him? Because I don't really know how to get to his house. Do I need to come with my agent? And then he's like, he's traveled, but he'll give me a call the next day when he comes. The next day, I waited for this landlord to come to Accra. He never called me because he said when he's in Accra, he'll give me a call. Later that evening, my instincts kept telling me that the landlord might have rented the studio apartment. So I communicated that with Kwesi Green, and then he was like, oh, he doesn't think the landlord will do that. Funny enough, the landlord did that. He had rented out my space that I paid for to a different person with the excuse that my money was delayed. I didn't have an issue. I just made it go. And so as I left, this landlord tells me there's another studio apartment and this one is way bigger than the first one that I had. So if I am ready, he will let me have that space, but then I'll have to pay a little above that. For someone who is desperate as I am in that time moment, a little amount of money being added to your money, you didn't mind. So I was like, oh sure, I still don't mind, I will pay for the space. A day later, he calls me and tells me now I have to pay. Like, he added 200 or 300 cedis extra per month to my agreed monthly payments for the space. And then I was like, oh, nah, now you're putting too much money in the same moment. Like, I can't be paying, if you were charging me 2,500 Ghana cedis for a month, you can't have me paying 3,000 Ghana cedis this time around for 1 month for this same space that we spoke about, we agreed on. So please, nah, I don't think I would want to have this space. And that's when things got worse. It's funny how Ghana, we kind of trust agents here, but we don't sometimes even know where they live. We don't know where they live. They take our money, they show us places, we don't even know where they live. So I called this agent and I'm like, okay, the landlord is willing to pay his money. Or I even called him and told him, yeah, the landlord is willing to pay his money. I'm expecting it. So I need him to also get his money ready. And he said, okay, sure. Landlord makes his payment. I call my agent and I'm like, hi, Mr. whatever his name was. Please, can I have my money because I have paid you for an agent fee, a 10% commission. Almost a 10% commission. Let's say I probably paid him like 7% of the money. So I need you to refund that money because my landlord has paid me and I need your money to pay to the next agent I would probably find. This man tells me that he tells me hey, which money again? We need to sit and talk. We need to talk on the phone. He's busy. You give me a call. And I said, okay. He kept saying that every single time I called him. So one time I asked him, okay, please, you want us to talk? What is it? He has spent time always covering up for me when he was speaking to the landlord. So he's taking some amount of money from the said money I had given him. And I'm like, okay, sure, fine. And then what again? Yes, he will deduct this. Like, he kept deducting the money. Finally, he said he will split the money into two. And he'll pay me half. For a second, half of that money wasn't really huge for me. But the stress he made me, like, wasn't really something I would kill myself for. But knowing the situation I was in, tight on budget, tight on money, tight on a lot of things, that money meant a lot to me. So I told him that, you know what, you give me that money. Now he tells me he's not yet ready. When he's ever ready, he will call me and he'll send me my money. And that took forever. There's so many ways I could actually meet this agent, but I didn't think it was necessary. I used the help of my friends by calling him and saying that we need a place to rent, and then we could meet up this man and do whatever we wanted to do to him and have my money. But I didn't think it was necessary. What advice that I'll give to anybody trying to rent out a space is never pay your 10% commission when you haven't moved in yet and you're not done paying your rent. Don't go trusting agents because they're really sweet from the beginning. Don't even trust your landlords because some landlords are crazy. Some landlords are very opportunistic. I have met some in the past. Yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for listening to my story. This was a little story time that I just wanted to share with all of you. My name is Landon, and I hope this video would go a long way to advise most of you when you're dealing with agents in Accra, Ghana.